Hello, everyone. Welcome to
When You Wish Upon a
Podcast. And good evening, guys. Well, I think pretty much everybody's in the evening besides, overseas somewhere. But in America, it's evening on both ends.
This is America.
I know, but, we still have some viewers from different countries. So it's like, good day, good evening, good morning,
Good day, good evening, good morrow.
Hey, Bala.
Oh, hello.
So, today, guys, we got some news, and we're going to get into some nice topics that we kind of thought of last night right before we went to bed. It was kind of weird, and we decided to discuss it. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But for some Disney news, Disneyland will now provide child care assistance for cast members and employees.
Finally. Fucking took you long enough.
It was like it took you since Walt Disney that realized that they needed childcare assistance. But if you think about it, like back when Walt created Disneyland and stuff, like that was the time where women pretty much was homebodied women. Like they don't go out to work. Like there was very few of them that were.
Sorry, this ain't the 40s and 50s where it's like, have a good day at work, honey.
Well, I mean, back then it was still kind of the norm, and it didn't really break off until like about the 70s when women were like more empowered on the workforce.
Yeah.
So I could see it being more like, we're still in the mentality of like, oh, women don't come to work, and there's no single households or anything like that. That was like very far and few back in that time. But I was like, well, that's some news right there, I guess. It's like now, 2019, you guys decide now you're going to do some child care assistance.
Yep.
Good on you, Disney. You could have done that like a long time ago.
20 years ago.
Right.
Roughly around the 90s.
Right. And there's actually news from the Disney Plus side. There is going to be an all-new Chip and Dale animated series coming soon to Disney Plus. And it looks like it's about the same art style as DuckTales right now, with the new DuckTales, not the old DuckTales, but the new one that just came out. So, we're going to go into that. I don't know. I have to sit down and watch it. It depends. Like I said, I'm planning on getting Disney Plus, so I might sit down and watch just to see, what they've done. But it doesn't say it's going to be like the Rescue Rangers. It says just a Chip and Dale animated. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be not. Now I would have been like maybe a tad bit more excited if it was Rescue Rangers.
Right. Because
that was my jam. I like Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. It was like a really good show back in the 80s, 90s. Mm-hmm. So. That's coming around. What are you doing? You're like ignoring me, it seems like. Uh-huh.
Oh, no, I'm getting into the other part of the Disney.
Ah, okay. And also, with the whole hype of Toy Story 4 stars Tom Hanks and Tim Allen bringing Disney toys to children at Orlando Hospital. Mm-hmm. That's a nice little tidbit to talk about.
That's incredible.
I mean, that's like norm for most, but not all celebrities do it. So,
right.
So, what else is there? Anything else I needed to say? Oh yes, just a little tidbit, guys. Last Sunday was Donald Duck's 85th birthday.
Yeah, just.
And then Daisy's was the day before. Cool. But Daisy's younger than Donald.
Still.
I was like, oh, I missed that. I did post about like saying happy birthday to Donald Duck and stuff like that because I had to have a picture with him. So I was like, oh, happy birthday, you look good for 85. Mm-hmm. Then you got Mickey as 90 and Minnie is 90. Goofy is young. He didn't premiere until 1950s, 53. Mm-hmm. He's like way younger than Mickey and Donald, like way. I'm like, dang, dude, you got a big gap there. He's still almost a strapping young dog.
Right? Wars.
Well, first of all, I didn't really know about Donald Duck's birthday until people were like saying, oh, June 9th is Donald's birthday. And I'm like, oh, it's nice to know. I never, it was like certain characters you don't pay attention to their birthdays. Mm-hmm. Mickey, you got to because he's like the main honcho, like.
Yes.
So, I know you're ready to get into your part. Go for it.
Disney news. So in today's financial stock, I was right.
You're right. Okay.
So for those who wanted to play the stock market,
Mm-hmm.
and when I said back then it was like 135, 136, and they would need to invest now,
Mm-hmm.
after Disney finally announced all of their things, Disney Plus, Hulu, add-ons, etc., etc., the stock market rose for Disney at whopping 6 points. Now it is at $141.74 and rising.
And it'll probably rise next weekend with Toy Story 4.
Oh yeah, it's continuing. So its projected amount of highness is going to reach by the fall of 2019.
Like, there'll be a peak. I don't know. It might do good with Maleficent, the second Maleficent movie that's coming out. But I mean, I'm talking about
So their estimated peak is about $220 a stock. $220 a stock.
Oh, interesting.
So for those who have played the stock game, you would actually come out with a nice wipeout. Let's see, do the math. $80 difference per stock if you decided to sell around the highest peak.
All right.
Which, I mean, $80 does add up depending on how many stocks you bought.
Right. That's true. That is totally true. But that's if you're into the stock market.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, it'll probably hit. I bet it'll probably hit its peak probably by Frozen 2 comes out.
Oh, no, it's rising as we speak.
I know, but
so
I meant, like,
for those who know the stock...
Or that Galaxy's Edge coming into
So
Disney
for
World.
those who know the stock game, bears are the ones who typically take their sweet time and buy it, knowing well what they're going to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Bulls are just the type of people who rush in for the namesake, nothing else, no knowledge, just going in head first. If you're a bull, there are so many. What's going on right now is what's considered a stampede. There's a lot of bulls buying into Disney. Right now as we speak. So when you buy into it right now, the stock's going to get higher regardless per share. So that's why it's going to estimate to 220 and if more.
I think it's going to be more, like, at least by Frozen when it comes out. Frozen 2.
By Frozen 2, I think it's going to hit a peak of like...
Oh, and also, guys,
220.
there is a new trailer out for Frozen 2. It looks really interesting. It looks like there's going to be more, too, about Elsa's powers. That's just a little tidbit I'm going to get, but if you guys want to look it up, it is on, I'm supposing YouTube now, because, or at least if you don't find it on YouTube by itself, then look at GMA, Good Morning America. They got the first look of the trailer. So I think it'd be like more like your teaser trailer more than anything else. It's not like, I don't think it's the full trailer, but it's like that teaser trailer to get you hooked. Like, oh, hello, let's see. I'm gonna get into this. I am too. I'm excited. Hey, Ugly Stewie.
Hey, Cora.
And hey, Cora. But yes, I am excited for Frozen 2 because it looks like, I saw the trailer. It looks like it's going to have a little bit more premises of Elsa and her powers. Like, it seems like an old power thing, and see, whatnot. That's what it looked like to me with the whole trailer.
Right.
So, well, we have no more news because everything was pretty much
stale and stagnant.
Yeah, we probably will get more news. We'll probably get more news probably next Friday when Toy Story 4 comes out.
The only update that is considered news was there's a 40-something-year-old man last week that we reported stating that he worked for Disney when he was technically like this creepy pedophile man trying to hit on a supposed 9-year-old and 8-year-old and her estranged father for like a casual
Cora.
sicking thing. He swore up and down that he worked for Disney. Now Disney actually went through the records and stated to the police department over in Celebration that he in no way, shape, or form worked for them.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was like a janitor or something. Like something like lowly, not like
not like an actual
cast
he claimed up and
like,
down that he was a cast member, but no. They went through the records and everything. He hasn't even worked there, nothing whatsoever. It's just false claims.
Well, you get anybody who wants to say what job they have.
Yeah. So either way, the man's been sentenced to
blah blah blah. Like the typical. You're good. We never heard too much out of the lady who got hit by a bird.
Yeah, no, we haven't heard the news about the lady who got hit by a bird yet.
I think that went.
There's no update in that case.
I think that went underneath the rocks. Like it got shoved under because it was like probably she thought, well, she tried and she knew she was going to fail because there's no way anything. Which one are you talking about? What part? The guy that was the pedophile, the guy?
Yeah, there was a creepy pedophile man who swore up and down he worked for Disney when he didn't.
And then you got this lady that got hit with the bird, and she supposedly got brain damage.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. With that little fun fact of that story is, she was waiting in line to go on a ferry to get to a park, some Disney park. I don't remember which one. I'm not.
When the bird just kind of like kamikazed into her head.
Yeah. Most likely it sounded like it was like probably like a seagull or something, like a water bird because it was by the water. So some water type bird or a bird that was near that area will somehow kamikazed on her. She's suing Disney because they didn't put proper, whatever, like, there might be diving birds. Okay, I'm sorry. Diving birds is a common sense thing that if you're by the water, you're going to get hit. So you're going to sit there and tell me if you got hit on Venice Beach, you're going to go sit there and sue Venice Beach because a bird hit you when it's natural wildlife.
Again, I go with, again, if for those who know the act of God clause, it's an act of nature.
Hi, Tracy.
But yeah, like the act of God clause is pretty much like an act of nature. Disney, you can't sue, in this case, I would think it would be the same. You can't sue Disney for an act of nature. It's not Disney's.
I know.
Yeah,
but
it's not Disney's fault. All of a sudden, this bird decided to go kamikaze. You know, for all we know, the fucking bitch's hair could have smelled like bad fish, and he could have been like, food.
But she's like making a big deal because there was no signs about it. I'm sorry, it's a common sense.
Yeah, common sense.
Like, if you're by the water, you're going to expect that animal to hit you, at least at some point.
Well, even then, I'm guessing those who've been, riding, like, the people who've done, like, the trips and everything back and forth for all the people could be, like, they probably did give a heads up. Like, heads up! You know?
No, they probably didn't. They don't pay attention to that stuff. It's nature. You're not going to sit there. Disney's a very activist with nature.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an active, like you said, the act of God clause. It's going to be like it's going to happen. Why do I need to tell you guys, hey, watch out for birds? Yeah. When it's a common sense, like when you're going to be by anywhere there's supposed wildlife, it's going to happen. You're going to get hit by an animal or something, or come across an animal.
And supposedly she's been suffered some brain damage and stuff. She suffered some brain damage enough to know that she still got hit and that she wants to sue Disney. What brain damage did she suffer?
I think she said like short-term memory or something like that. I'm like, well, maybe you were just already on that boat somewhere. You know, you're probably I don't know. I forgot how old she was, but. Maybe you were on that boat already before the bird hits you in the head. Maybe the bird just made you common sense, like, hey, I have short-term loss.
Short-term memory means then she wouldn't remember the act of the event that happened at Disney because it was so short-term.
That's what I'm saying.
She wouldn't remember the trip at Disney then.
Something to that effect, like something happened to her and it's just like, it's all a big mess and it's just like, I just think it's going to get swept underneath the rug. Disney's not going to say anything, or they're going to say something like, you know what, and the court's going to look at her like, you're just playing a piece of dumb person.
What the court's going to obviously do and what Disney's going to obviously do is they're going to pay for one thing to start. Okay, they're going to pay for a mental evaluation.
Probably.
No, they will.
Well,
Disney's going to give her technically a free mental evaluation, brain scan waves, therapy, and all that to see.
Well, no. The thing
is,
she probably won't do it because then she'll know she'll get caught.
Exactly.
So that will tell you.
Exactly, and that's what wins the case.
So that's what I'm just saying. Like, it's going to get swept underneath the rug like faster than anything. It's not going to go anywhere. She's not going to, get any. Thing from Disney because it's gonna be
but
even courts are gonna sit there and look at like
courts are waiting for the results and because Disney, knowing them, they're probably like, well, okay, you say this here, prove us wrong then. We think it's bullshit.
I know.
Here's the free evaluation.
But the court's gonna look at it like, so you're going to tell me you're going to sue everybody that you come in contact with animals that come in the wild. Yeah, you're going to sue the state of fucking Kentucky for a fucking deer.
That'd be like, They'd be like, oh, I got hit with bird shit, I'm suing Disney.
Or not just that, just like anywhere you go on. Like, I'm going to go sue somebody for something, It's like, so you're going to tell me you're going to sue everybody with a natural, with animals that in their natural habitat.
Right.
So it's like, I just don't get it. I just think it's stupid. She thinks it's funny. Yeah, right? It is funny.
No, it's literally just like that. Like, I got a piece of bird shit. fucking suing Disney.
Right, basically. It's like, okay, like any animal encounter you get at Disney, you're going to sue Disney.
Yeah, makes no sense.
Yeah, lady, just keep trying to think that's going to work in life. It's not going to go very far for you. Congratulations if it does. You surpass the justice system, I guess. I don't know what you want to do. If it gives you some satisfaction of something.
I don't know.
But anyways, guys, that's pretty much all the news that we have. Any updates on any of the news that we did talk about. So for the next, how long this is going to last for us, of how long.
Expect a short one, possibly.
We don't know. We might get into a good talk. But we're going to talk about unrated Disney movies.
Unrated? Underrated.
Underrated, whatever. Oh, no, it's fine. We're still going. We're just like, this is going to go for the rest of the time. To any of you guys watching, what is the underrated Disney movie of all time that has, starting from, let's go with now until...
Way back.
Back until 1937 with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Like, what movie do you think not many people would have watched, but you think it's really good? Because I have a few.
Well, and I do too.
Like I said, Sword in the Stone.
Sword in the Stone was very underrated, and it still is today. Like, even in like I told you, in the Disney parks, there's only one thing that actually talks about Sword in the Stone, and that's with little kids going to this little stone with a sword in it, and you lift it. If you get to it, you get to be like, I don't know, like a prince or something just for the day or for that time period, whatever, until the next lifting up the sword. Mm-hmm. But you don't see the characters. You don't even get like an area like, hey, this is meant for Sword in the Stone. It's just like I said, a random store. Like, that's at Disney World. I don't know what it is at Disneyland, but at least at Disney World.
Or even the Rescuers, the original Rescuers.
Well, I can see that too because it wasn't the greatest. I don't know if it was the story, how the story was going, or like I said, it could be the animation style they used. Like they used the same animation. Like they used the same animation style as 101 Dalmatians, so it kind of made it look really ugh.
It was the.
I don't know. It's weird.
It was the animation. The original story is kind of like similar in a way to Down Under.
But not.
But it was they were rescuing a girl named Penny.
Right, but that was more for like in the Rescuers they were using her for a purpose. The one in Rescuers Down Under was just because he was going to tell that he was poaching.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, he wasn't just like,
no.
Not to use him for something.
But in the case of Penny, she was a lost girl.
Well, she was an orphan.
Yeah.
But
that's what I meant. She was a lost girl. She had no place. So.
But like I said, but it was just like, but to me it was just like, but the story I just don't know. I just don't know I could grasp the story as much as I would do with Down Under. I don't know.
It was to establish a storyline of like, hey...
But it could have been like when you get introduced to the movie at a certain age, mm-hmm. It kind of maybe just it depends, it could turn you on or it could turn you off of like in the movie, Like I like the animation style of Down Under because it's with all my 90s. What I grew up with of animation style as you go back, all the animation style is different. Mm-hmm. It just depends on how, anybody could take it.
Oliver and Company.
Oliver and Company was very, very, very bigly underrated movie. I mean, getting Billy Joel to sit there and sing with a character got so underrated underneath the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, swept under the rug.
Like really bad. And I felt bad for it because it was like, I liked that one with it, and it had and you know what? It had the first song to tell you, don't worry. Good grief, forget about Hakuna Matata. You had, what should I worry?
Yep.
So it's like, I mean, come on, how can you not, like...
Let's see.
What?
Oh, no, I'm just looking through the list.
Oh, I was like, what are you going over there for?
Well, Fantasia was one, but not many people enjoyed it in general.
Well, Fantasia could be, like, it depends on what kind of group you're with the underrated, because it had a lot of classical, and a lot of people don't really care for classical music. I mean, there would be a few of them that do.
The Aristocats?
The Aristocats was very, very...
Very underrated.
Okay, Tracy. But it was like, it was good. I'll give you that. But I can see where people are kind of like, maybe the lack of story. Mm-hmm. So I could see why Aristocats probably didn't do as well.
The Black Cauldron.
Black Cauldron was very, very underrated, just as much as Oliver and Company.
Like I said, though, it really did feature the first big Disney death.
Well, and also it was a really...
Like, full scale.
Right. But it was also a dark movie, like a very dark. It was like dark all around. So like, and they always claim it as the darkest Disney movie ever created.
Hold on, I keep forgetting because I'm looking back at this list because I know exactly what I want, and I keep forgetting.
The Great Mouse Detective is another.
The Great Mouse Detective, The Fox and the Hound.
I know, I can't see it. I'm trying to think of like. I think it's mostly all the movies in the Dark Ages are the ones that get underrated. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed, I've looked at that list, all the Dark Ages movies are the ones that get underrated. Mm-hmm. Because, well, of course, you didn't have the leader of Disney, and you didn't have the, and I guess really Disney tried to do what he could, but I don't think he had that mentality like Disney did. So it kind of flopped a little bit, because I think he was doing more of the, oh, money, 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 when Disney was thinking like, you know what? I don't care if I'm spending like $6 million on a movie, but I know I'm gonna make it great. Like, I'm giving my money back because I made it great because I actually spent that extra dollar to make it. Versus as Roy probably just did was like, oh, you only have $35 million. That's all you have, and you can't do anything. So they're just probably like, and I think that's what it came with the recycling thing. It's probably because they had a certain budget, like how Roy is. Yeah. So that's what I'm guessing why the Dark Ages movies are so underrated. I mean, yeah, there's a few good ones. Don't get me wrong. Like, The Great Mouse Detective did great. So did Robin Hood. Yeah,
but again, they were so... Robin Hood, okay, yeah, that gets noticed, but The Great Mouse Detective is kind of swept under the rug.
Like, that was probably the worst one that got really swept under the rug.
Yeah, because it was Basil of Baker Street. He lived in the home of Sherlock Holmes.
So, it's like basically a mouse...
the office of Sherlock Holmes.
It's basically the mouse version of Sherlock Holmes. Yeah. Basically, that's what it is.
Quirkier, wittier way. And then, they had the evil villain, Ratigan, and his little fucking
And you had the mouse version of the Queen of England. So, it's like...
So he had like his little bat henchmen, and it's like, come on. It was good though. It really was. Especially when that scene where he's chasing fucking bats.
Oh my god!
Cogs and shit like.
Oh god, he was a freaking. I don't know what they do, but they make the rat anything with rats look freaking creepy. It's like, guys, were you just all demented when you made these characters? Because even the rat and the lady and the tramp look creepy.
The rats in Aladdin look creepy.
Right. It's like everything looks creepy. It's like, why do you make them... I mean, even though they are, some of them are creepy looking, but it's like, good God, guys. It's like, kind of make them a little bit not so creepy, because, I mean, they're not all...
Well, they did fix it with, like... Well, no, because it's a mouse, but Ratatouille. I guess there's a difference between...
Actually, no, he's not a mouse. He's actually a rat. Those are actually rats.
Okay, so at least they made
probably Mount Rat.
So at least they made Ratatouille cute.
Right. Yeah, I think it's like they're like, oh wait, they probably look back and they're like all like, we made these rats look so freaking creepy. We probably need to make a movie just say, hey, look, mice are just as nice too. Yeah, right. But then again, I can say that could be a bad thing too. Like, oh yeah, let's make mouse look nice and hopefully they'll help you learn how to cook French cooking.
Right? Fucking pulling your hair and all of a sudden it's like, I pull my hair and all, I don't see my arms go.
I don't understand that. That's like, I'm like, really, Disney, you think that was going to work? Because, I mean, like, I bet people have been trying to sit there and say, oh, yeah, here, I can understand you can move your head, but I don't understand why it moves your arms.
Yeah, it doesn't make you move your arms, your fucking legs, and make you cook fucking, filet mignon or some shit.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I never understood that. It's like, what's Disney, really? Now people are going to think, oh, let's put a mouse on my head, see if they grab my hair and make me... I bet you better put a warning on there. It's like, please do not do this. Do not put a rat underneath your hat on your head.
It'll fucking gnaw at your skull.
Yeah, try to get out because it's like suffocating. They dig, they don't.
You will end up with rabies.
Or who knows what else other disease that they're carrying.
Right.
Good God.
Right.
And I'm going to say this too. There's some probably post-Renaissance movies that are pretty underrated too. Like a lot of them.
Yes.
Because, like, dinosaurs.
Yes.
Good GG on, like Disney trying to sit there and take it with the Pixar thing with that, that animation style as Pixar. But it got underrated, too, because of just, they were trying to do the whole, yes, this is how dinosaurs were right before the whole...
Meet the Robinsons.
Meet the Robinsons was probably underrated. Yeah, I'm just saying, all the post-Renaissance movies, just like the Dark Ages and the post-Renaissance movies are very underrated movies. And I can see why people are like,
Bolt.
See, now Bolt, I could not get into. I tried. I watched.
It's still very underrated though.
Yeah, with all the voice actors, you had Miley Cyrus, John Travolta, all that, but it still just didn't get the fame.
It got brushed under the rug because of a bigger blockbuster hit at that time.
Well, actually, I think a lot of it was because they had Bolton, and then like right after it was Princess and the Frog, and then they went back to the original like '90s style animation with Princess and the Frog, and that's why he did such a success. Because but like all of us, our age group is like, oh my god, nostalgia! This is like our Disney princess again. We're going back to that here, and then you get into Tangled, and then they do kind of like the more the I don't know what you call it, computer animation or whatever type thing.
CGI.
CGI. Well, not really CGI.
You say computer, so CGI.
Well, kind of like what Pixar normally did, but they kind of made like with Tangled and Frozen, they all have the same style of.
It's still CGI. It's just in a different animation style. You can make it either look realistic or you can make it look as fake as you want it to.
Right. Well, possibly. But yeah, I'm gonna say most of all the Dark Ages movies are like the most underrated movie. And you say Fantasia too, but I'm like, yeah, I can understand it being underrated.
Fantasia 2000.
But the thing is with those is because, well, I don't know about, because I haven't really watched
Fantasia 2000 is pretty much like Fantasia, but with just celebrity cameos. That's it.
So, like I said, but people are not much into classical music unless you're a really classically trained person. You're like, oh, I love Fantasia. It's like
to
the
its
best
credit, though, at least, even though it was classical music, it tried to fit the bill, adding some stories within the music. Like the Sorcerer's Apprentice, Cherambog, thank you. And a few others.
I'm not coming to work tonight. But there was another one. The Brave Little Toaster is the most underrated movie ever.
Not the most.
I know it's not the most, but to me it feels like it because it had a great storyline.
Oh, yeah.
And people always diss about it. Oh, like, why does appliances have a connection to a kid and blah, 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 because they used them. It's like, it'd be like us, like, we would like to be loved and everything.
What are you talking about? It's like...
Well, somebody talked about it.
Well, no, but not many people gathered the concept. It's like, oh, why is the kid attached to these and why are they attached to him? They did the same fucking thing with Toy Story.
Yeah, and the person that was talking about when I watched the video about it said the same thing. It's like they already did it with Toy Story, but, people got a little bit more like, toys, blah, blah, blah. It's like, but it's the same concept in Brave Little Toaster. Yeah, I take it for granted it's appliances. But, it's just
it's like Toy Story is a rehashing of the Brave Little Toaster, just in a different way.
Basically. And I thought it was a really cute idea. And then it really touched a lot of deep storylines, too. Like, losing friends. And it's like, realize, like, you always want to be this, I don't want nobody around. I'm all by myself, blah, blah, blah. Then when you realize when all your friends leave, it does affect you.
Yeah, it shows how much you really need them.
Yeah, it's like, I don't like being alone. I hate being alone. It's not my cup of tea. It's like, so I'm going to go with my friends.
Well, we don't have tea. We have coffee.
But, ha, ha, ha. But so, it's like Brave Little Toaster had a lot of good meanings. Like, you need your friends to get you to places. And you need your master for the love, I guess. I don't know. But even Brave Little, like the toaster, he even saved his master from the whole smashing his hand, smashing general, putting himself through the cogs to...
You want to know what the most...
And that one, if you consider that one, that's a gruesome death right there, too.
Yes.
Even though it was appliance, but it's still a gruesome death.
Do you want to know what the most underrated movie of all time is? The most underrated movie of all time is the one that's not seen as much. You already know the answer to this one.
You're going to get me on that track again?
You already know the answer to this one.
Yes, I know. And I'm like, you want me to go on that train.
Well, it's clearly and technically the most underrated because everybody else outside of the United States knows this movie.
Well, it is not just that. Or people, like, were born live, whatever you want to call it, when the movie came out. Mm-hmm. They got to see it because it was down during Disney's time. Disney put it in theaters.
Yep, and ever since then, it's been hidden.
Yeah.
So
and I really...
It's like backlashed and everything, and nobody knows unless you buy it off of a...
Or if you're a true Disney fan like me that knows every little thing, every little movie or Disney thing, then yeah, you're gonna know about it. But if you're just like a noob that's out of nowhere walking down the street,
hi Chris. Yeah,
wasn't now that
to me, Song of the South will forever be the most underrated.
Because nobody gets to see it and make their own judgment, and that's what pisses me off about it, is because they don't allow you to. Why can't every generation at least see the movie? I don't care if you just put it in the theaters for like a few weeks. If you just do that, that's fine. Let us young people make decisions. Do we want this on DVD or not?
Yeah.
On video, do I want to own it?
That's fine.
I mean, why can't, if they're not going to do it like on their Disney Plus, if they're not going to give us a movie, like, for us to own, then why don't you put it in theaters and let people make up their own decision on it? There you go, Disney. I'm going to put that out there on the table. Why don't you do that? Why don't you at least put it in theaters for a few months? Maybe put a select theaters for all I care. And let people go and make their own decision about it. I don't think, if you want to use the profit from whatever this movie makes, put it towards charity. Whatever. Or help the...
Put it towards the NAACP.
Or, yeah, that group. Something, if you want to do it that way. Custom print, I don't know, but I think it'd be more like, I could see Disney doing it more like going into a theater than to put it on DVD or anything like that.
Show it for a set amount of time and have actual audiences agree or disagree whether they
give them a survey.
I'm not talking about these butthurt I'm offended by it. No, unbiased, open-minded people.
Well, I would say you just give surveys. See how many people actually like it or not. All you have to do is put on a piece of paper saying. And it'll just say, do you want to own this movie or whatever, do you want this movie to be?
Or even so, take it at face value where it's like, okay, how many people are sitting in a theater watching this compared to how many people are sitting in the theater?
Song of the South, Chris.
And, do a survey of your own, okay, to those who stayed and watched throughout the entire movie, what are your thoughts? Do you want to see this movie on a DVD?
That's why I said,
And then those who walked out just considered it an automatic no, if they got easily offended or butthurt or whatever.
That's why I said at the end of the movie, the movie has to, end completely, when we get to the credits, I'm going to say just the credits, because I know Disney didn't do anything after credits. So once you get to the credits, that's when there will be people out there standing, the workers or something, gives you a piece of paper, but here, take the survey before, what did you think? You need to take the survey so we can, it's a national whatever thing for Disney.
Yeah.
Why can't you do that? It's how hard is that? If you're thinking everybody's going to think the same way, that means you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
You need to let all the people decide. I would say every, maybe let's say this year, if they did it this year with the whole thing, make the viewing free too. Yeah. I would say that, or make it half price or something of a ticket.
No, I'd say...
Because even if you do it for free, people are going to, whatever, but...
No, I agree with Chris. If you made it free and then the survey, they give you maybe $5-10.
I wouldn't say that.
No, because then it would entice people to actually go, see it, give their honest opinions, and get paid to do so.
Pay for, at least a ticket at a movie?
Yeah.
I can see it.
And it would entice the people to do so. And then they would sit there, they would watch it regardless, knowing at the fact that they would have to give their opinions and, their honest opinion and do a movie and get paid for it in a way, where it's a free movie. I don't think people would,
Right.
Some of it would lead to, it's a great movie. Hey, give me my free ticket. No. But some of it would be okay, either I really enjoyed it because of this, or I didn't like it because of this.
That way, if you just take the survey in general, just give them the money. If it's a negative or a positive survey, they get paid.
Yeah.
You're going to get somebody to at least take the survey. Mm-hmm. If you get the group of different people taking the survey, because if you just sit there and say, oh, the only people that get surveys if you do a correct one, then you're going to falsify
but saying most of them would probably give you that, and then Disney could sift through all that crap and kind of go for the basic where it's yes, this, no, this.
Song of the South, Tracy. It's a very old movie nobody really knows about.
I know about the movie. She knows about the movie. It's pretty much about an ex-slave known as Uncle Rufus?
Remus.
Sorry.
Uncle Remus.
Uncle Remus, who basically tells a bunch of white kids stories of his past, but in a light, cartoony way.
Yeah.
That involves certain characters, and they have lessons and all that jazz. So it's kind of it's a good movie, and I've watched it growing up. The thing though is I got the international movie version because there's no American version.
You're welcome, Tracy.
Yeah, there's no American release because the NAACP, the National African American whatever, got up in arms about it, saying that movie was racist, that it was depicting African Americans in a way that they shouldn't be, etc., etc. So for many years, up until now, no one has seen a North American or just an American release of the movie.
Well, and I'm also saying, like, why is anybody questioning this when there's the ride at Disneyland and Disney World called Splash Mountain, which is based off that movie? That's where I'm getting, like, why isn't anybody making a big deal about this? It's like, what movie is this? Song of the South. What Song of the South? See? I think everybody, I think each, like certain amount of generation, gap needs to know about it. At least know about the movie. Because other than that, people will be like, I don't know what this movie is. It's just Song of the South. And then they go look it up and they can't get it unless it's overseas.
Exactly.
But
most people don't know it's related.
Well, cast members would tell you, because if they have
most of the cast members would tell you, but most people would look it up and then they would see what people wrote about it. It's like, oh, it's a Disney movie, but it faced so much controversy back then. Wait, why did it have controversy? And then they would see it for their own selves. But they'd have to pay, up the ass for an international.
Right. But it's like, yeah. It's like every time I look at it, and they even say in their little thing, it's like, no American release, but if you're going to get the movie, you're getting it overseas, guaranteed. Right. Somewhere over there. I don't know what one you'll get, but you'll get it. And you don't even know, for that matter, you might never get one that's English. It might be in their own language. So you're like, then you'll be even more lost because you don't...
Oh, no, it's in English,
I know, but
it's subtitled.
But you know what I'm saying? But still, you never know what they have done to movies over there. So it's like, you don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
But that's what I'm just saying. Like, that's the most underrated movie, and people are not getting a lot of chances to actually see it and watch it. Yeah, right? If we can get it on the laptop, that's the thing.
It's $15.
But he's saying to play it on Rabbit, but that's the thing. We have to get it on, like, a certain thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could do it off of the Roku TV. Like you're playing on DVD, but it's like you could do it over... Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if you could do it that way. I mean, it's a thought. I
have an honest question now.
What? What's your honest question?
I found a movie poster of Song of the South.
Aw.
For $7 on Walmart.
At Walmart?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. I'm gonna go with that.
Right?
Why is Walmart selling a poster of Song of the South?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
24 by 36 poster.
Hey, I'll buy it. Shoot. Never seen the movie in my life, but I'll buy the poster just to have in the room. Be like, look, I got a movie poster. See, you can start putting movie posters on this wall. I miss you too, Tracy. Also, can I say it's funny, I bought a book kind of related to this. You know what, Chris? We did buy something from that. Did I have it in here? Or is it still... Oh, it's still in the car. But we did find something that had to do with the Uncle Remus stories. So basically what Song of the South is. We found it at our antique store here. So we do have some part of Song of the South. And like we said, we showed you the guys the Song of the South piano thing, which we have now. And it's framed and it's up. So it's not going to get hurt. Mm-hmm. But we did find a little story that talked about Uncle Remus stuff at our antique store. So it's like, we haven't really looked at it or anything like that, but it was something like a, comic magazine type thing.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, we haven't really looked at it yet, so we're going to have to take a look at it. Guns of the South by Harry Turtledove. It's an old history of the world, and this one takes place during the Civil War. Huh.
Yeah, cool. Now there's...
Well, see, like, Song of the South is like after the Civil War, basically. What? What, you can't buy it now? No. Like, it shows it and you can't buy it?
No. It's just like, they actually have a thing on here where it's like, how racist is Disney's Song of the South?
Probably not.
Oh, no, I want to read this. I want to read the end result. I'm curious now.
Right. Oh, what people have said?
Yeah, because they're giving an honest review of the movie, right?
Oh, cool. I might have to check into that. I do like history. Yeah.
So they re-released the film several times in the mid to late 20th century.
Well, what late 20th century?
1986, in celebration of Song of the South's 40th anniversary. That's the only time it ever hit theaters again.
Wow. Can we do it now?
Right.
I mean, that makes no sense. It's like, yeah, why don't you put another group in there? That's what I was asking when they said late. I'm like,
this person says, just how bad is it? It's pretty bad. Granted, nothing in the film comes close to matching the virulent racism of a film like Birth of a Nation, but it says it's still pretty racist. It depicts. It chooses what not to depict. Really, it's.
What?
I guess they're butthurt where it's like, oh, it's So the problem isn't necessarily what Song of the South depicts, but what it chooses to not depict. Although Harris's Uncle Remus stories were set in Georgia after the Civil War, the film adaptation never makes it clear when the story is taking place.
Okay, not most of any of Disney's movies they make depicts the freaking place, the time.
Right. So you recognize Johnny and his family's late Victorian wardrobe, but for the rest of us dopes, there's no indication when the film is set. If you're not a scholar or an Uncle Remus expert, it's very easy to assume that the film was set before the Civil War, and that Remus and Aunt Tempe are slaves, and that they are completely fine with that.
Okay, how hard is it for Disney to sit there and say, hey, it was based after Civil War, blah, blah, blah?
Hell, you can actually reskin it, and again, redo it as, like we did before, where it's, this is, like, fucking do 2 black screens explaining, like, hey, viewer discretion is advised, blah, blah. This is Walt Disney of back then. This depicts the times of after the Civil War.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, like Song of the South takes place after the Civil War, while the Walt Disney Company, blah, blah, blah.
But also, they don't really realize this is stupidity right here. This is why you did not pay attention in history class. If the 2 white kids were talking to Uncle Remus, that was a big no-no during the Civil War time, because that's when you get hanged or get shot. Doesn't matter who the fuck you are. So, I'm sorry, then you slept through history class in general, per people that are making these stupid racist comments or whatever, saying, oh, it does not depict my time. It doesn't. Yes, it does. Kids that were white kids would not go talk to the slaves like that. Go into their home of some sort to go do that, because that's when you get shot and whatever, because everybody watches you. And if somebody slips up and says, hey, my kids were hanging out with Uncle Remus, they're going to be like, oh, you're getting hanged. Even the kids are going to get hanged. Everybody. That was during the Civil War time.
Yep.
So I'm sorry, but if you're going to tell me, oh, it's during the Civil War, you guys slept through history really badly, obviously, or did not pay in your history classes at all. Because you wouldn't be doing that. Kids would not be going there talking to Uncle Remus. Da-da, guys.
Again,
history lesson in the book.
Still, even to solve the stupid problem, they could easily say Walt Disney, blah, 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 and then this film depicts a time after the Civil War for the stupid.
Yeah, people that don't pay attention to history class, obviously.
Yeah, and if they don't pay attention to that line right there that Disney provided to them, saying, okay, for your discretion advised, and again, take as it will, but this is depicted after this set of period of time.
I put it in big old letters after Civil War. Ta-da! How stupid.
Yeah,
you can't read
that.
Yeah,
people get butthurt and racist, and it's like, no, we provided you with the information. You just wanted to take it.
You just want to make a fucking piss ass whatever.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm just saying. But people, this is why I'm just thinking, people need to pay attention to history just a little bit more instead of these mathematics, scientific, whatever bullcrap, because history does repeat itself if you don't pay attention to history.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you from an un-Disney point of view. The real reason racism still exists is because people want a reason to hate something and someone.
That's also what I'm telling you, too. History likes to repeat itself, but if people don't pay attention to history of what's gone on, then we're going to repeat ourselves over and over and over. I'm waiting for World War III to start already. We already went through, the Depression, all this jazz. I'm waiting for World War III to happen right now, because that's where we're coming up to, because that's what happened, was we got the other World War, so
Yep.
where's World War III?
Yep, and Oompa Loompa is going to lead us to our deaths. Basically.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm just saying. It's like, I'm waiting.
Yep.
Right? Basically.
So.
I mean, that's how I'm feeling about this. It's like, I'm waiting for World War III to happen right now.
Anyways, next subject.
Well, you got me on the train now, and it's like...
Oh, no.
But after you read that thing, that made sense, but I'm like, but then it makes no sense. Like, then you guys were not paying attention.
Anyways, on to the next.
But... So, is there any other ones anybody knows that what's underrated Disney movie of all time that you think is underrated? Like, Disney doesn't do a whole lot of...
Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I want to say yes and no. Like, yes, to an extent of, like, it's not being played as... It's actually being played pretty often, by the way.
I know. Now it is. Now that it... So, that got noticed later on. In the beginning, did you really notice the Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Yes, because we did watch it. Yes, we had to be adjust for it.
I did. You did. A few people did. Not everybody else hopped onto that bandwagon until...
I really did go, like I said, as a kid, we never went to theaters as much. I think the first time as a kid went to go see in theaters of a movie of anything Disney was probably either either Toy Story or Toy Story 2. And that was like, you know, as if you weren't considered a kid. But as we were kids, we never saw the movies coming out in theaters, but we did end up getting them on VHS at the time. That's before DVDs. But, you know, my parents would buy it. Or at least my mom, I would think. I don't know who would really did.
So, anyways, people didn't really notice Hunchback of Notre Dame as much until later on in its life cycle. So it didn't get as much buzz to start.
Well, it actually did get some buzz too when it came out, because it did go, the song Hellfire did go for as a Academy Award.
Yes, but
song.
Talking about
like it won the Oscar, I think it did, or something. It was up for that.
Right, but again,
so it did get some recognition, probably not the recognition as it should have.
Right.
Chris.
Anyways.
So, I mean, but yeah, it is, that's what I'm trying to say. It's a yes and no movie that's underrated. Like, it's still relevant today, but it also, yes, I can understand it's not, you know.
Right.
What are you trying to do?
Nothing.
Okay. You do you, whatever
you're doing. Absolutely nothing.
Okay. But...
Anyways, is there anything else? Because I've got nothing.
Yeah, and I think we hit all touch base of all underrated Disney movies. You know what? I mean, I'm going to go with not just the animated version. I'm going to go with some, like, considered live action, but, you know, or like live movies. I really think The Mighty Ducks kind of got underrated. A little bit. Just a little bit. 'Cause,
1 and 2. The third one, I no matter how hard you try, it still sucked.
It was alright, but yeah. But, I mean, they're kind of underrated of the movies that Disney did. And nobody realizes, unless you were, like I said, either during the time it came out, or you're an adamant Disney fan. But I think it got underrated really much.
Yes, because Mr. Estevez did a pretty good job.
I think he did good. Emilio Estevez, yeah.
So.
I enjoyed the movies.
So did I.
Yeah, a game about hockey without violence, right?
My favorite was honestly D2.
I liked all three of them. I think they all have their own quirks or their own
quack.
You know, yeah, the quack, 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 quack. But yeah, but it did actually. I'm gonna say this: they did bring hockey into light as a sport. You know, because you always get those soccer movies or those football or basketball. You barely got anything with hockey. You know, like another sport that's not being known as much.
Right.
Because hockey's only like in certain areas. It's not in every single area around here.
Right.
So I kind of think it got kind of underrated. Oh, wow. I'm reading my Discord just popped out of nowhere. It's like, what? And in some ways too, you think Jafar Returns actually got underrated too. Aladdin, Jafar Returns, that movie got kind of underrated too. Even though it didn't have Robin Williams, woohoo, big wham wham people, but at least it wasn't too bad of a movie to tell you, like, Jafar did come back for his revenge, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think it's an underrated sequel, but, it is what it is. If you're going to do a sports movie, it needs to be one that's popular in the area or have some big names everyone knows. That's true. But like I said, you pretty much got football everywhere and basketball everywhere, it seems like. But, even tennis for that matter. But, yeah, hockey is a very limited place to have of a sport. You have to be, like, way up north to know it. Like, even, like, I'm going to say this, Space Jam. It's not Disney, but I like Space Jam. But like I said, even there's like, if you think about it, what is it? The Winter Olympics. I bet you everybody does not know half of those games that they do.
Nope.
Because it's not popular, and that's why I'm going to say this. I don't think even Winter Olympics is as popular as the summer. There's like games I never do. I had to ask my mom because my mom is from the north, and she knew most of these games. So it's like curling. Nobody knows curling. They need to make some more light into some other sports too. Well, I mean,
why was that the first fucking thing that was in my search engine was underrated Disney movies? They have their own. The Black Cauldron, Robin Hood, The Fox and the Hound, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Pocahontas, Fantasia 2000.
Pocahontas was not that underrated. My God,
these are in a list, so
I know, but the list that list is stupid.
Meet the Robinsons. Hercules.
Yeah, that one, Chris. Yeah, that's what curling is. Hercules was not that underrated, was it? Well, it kind of was. Like, 97 it came out. It was after the fact of...
Well, we're not talking about, like, pop... Well, we're underrated, underappreciated, that people, like, all people didn't know.
People knew Hercules. I think
they knew of it, but they've never seen it.
That's what I'm trying to say. I think most Renaissance movies, I think some people have at least seen. You know what I'm saying?
So,
because they were pretty heavy on that.
So Meet the Robinsons, Hercules, The Great Mouse Detective, Atlantis, The Lost Empire.
Oh, you're talking about
Atlantis, The Lost Empire.
Hold on. You're talking about Cool Runnings, and it was about the Jamaican bobsledding. That's what it was. It was bobsledding, Chris. Right. And then Disney did do that movie, by the way.
Atlantis.
I forgot about Atlantis. Was actually, I watched that movie. That was actually and Treasure Planet was very underrated too.
Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, we forgot about Emperor's New Groove.
Iron Will.
Iron Will was like a live action movie.
Regardless, Princess and the Frog was kind of underrated. James and the Giant Peach.
Why was it so underrated? I think
James and the Giant Peach.
That was very underrated. It was like I can see it was kind of like because didn't Tim Burton do it? I feel like it was a Tim Burton feeling movie.
Yep. The Hunchback of Notre Dame, sure, it's one of the darker Disney movies, but it doesn't...
But it doesn't overexceed Black Cauldron. Black Cauldron still didn't...
Big Hero 6 apparently was underrated.
Well, it came after Frozen, so it kind of like was in the...
Tarzan.
What is Tarzan? Who the fuck made this list? This person does not know underrated.
No, he literally went based on how many people have seen it, like box office-wise, like the first 2 weeks compared to like later on.
I'm sorry, but that's stupid. I don't think you should go by that because that's just wrong. Because it's like, you could say the same thing from all the freaking Disney movies from like Pinocchio, Dumbo,
well, no, apparently
Because
Tarzan didn't get its popularity until the VHS release. In movie theaters, it didn't gain as much.
Well, like I said, I was not young enough to couldn't go on my own, to the movie theater.
So when people finally got it on VHS, then it became popular compared to its movie theater releases. Robin Hood, The Rescue Was Down Under.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it did pretty well.
A goofy movie.
Yeah, because I don't think it really went to the theaters. It just went on straight to movie. I'm going to say.
The Fox and the Hound.
Yeah, I can see it too because I didn't really care for too much for Fox and the Hound.
A Bug's Life.
Yeah, really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it did pretty well because it was like a different type of movie.
Pocahontas.
See, that one I'm confused because they made a big hype about it.
So surprisingly, it only grossed as much as it's...
Yes. But no, what I said is, I know this because they made a big hype about it, but it didn't do well with the hype it came out to be.
Yes, until its VHS release.
Well, until later on, when people...
Oliver and Company.
But I mean, you know what I think? I'm gonna think too with this, with like especially like the Renaissance ones, like Hunchback of Notre Dame, Tarzan, all of those. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about the time period of how many people actually were going to the movies.
Right.
Was it that time period of going to the movies? Because I think it depends. It fluctuates on years where people are like, oh, we're all movie buffs. We want to go watch a movie. Mm-hmm. And there's just years where people are like, who gives two craps about movies? I want to go to a live concert.
Okay, so we've already said a few of these. Oliver and Company, The Black Cauldron, Aristocats, and Sword in the Stone. But there's one more we didn't expect. And that's not until it's...
I really need to go get a long list of movies to watch.
And this wasn't until it's...
Well, Chris, when you come here, you can have movie day with us all the time with Disney.
He's not moving here. He's moving to Ponca City.
Well, still not far. I can go down there and go have a movie time with him with Disney. I can take my whole group with me and be like, we are watching Disney.
Anyway, so there's one more on that list that nobody expected, but it actually ended up being very underrated until its VHS release. Mulan. It didn't gain as much popularity until...
Yeah, it's like 30 minutes. We can,
it didn't gain as much popularity until its VHS release. I
did go see that in theaters. I did go see that, and I enjoyed it.
So they've actually done a scale of, again, box office release... within its month's run, it only made as much as the animation that was spent on it. VHS sales skyrocketed.
Well, but you know what I'm thinking too is I don't think people want to go, and it depends on what the cost of movies were at different places. Who had the money to do that at that time? That's why.
That's probably why they were underrated, because of the price of tickets. Who
wants to go to movies? Yeah,
different
movies,
things like that. So
and it depends on when it came out, during what time of the year.
Yeah.
When were people going to the movies or not?
Yeah.
Question. I mean, that's all depends on that, and then it's attainable to get a DVD or a VHS. I mean, DVDs now, but
not only that, but I mean, with the VHS, almost about the same price as a ticket. Back then, it's I can see this multiple times.
See, now, say my area, we only get $5 for a matinee, so we can go see.
Yeah, you can go see a movie and then buy it on fucking DVD.
Right, but I mean, we can go see them all different times. Even $7 is not bad to go see a movie.
No.
So it's
Well, Connecticut, where I was, it was literally $14, $15.
Who has that money?
That's just for a regular matinee ticket.
And that depends on what your cost of what you're paying on bills at the time you're at.
Exactly.
So it's what price, what money do I have to go to a movie? That'd be a very far in between.
Well, no, that's exactly. It's I can either watch this, now for $14, $15, pay whatever for the cost of a popcorn or whatever, or I can buy it for $14, $15, maybe half a year later on a VHS or a DVD.
And I can have it for myself for the whole entire time.
Yeah, and I can just watch it as many times as I like.
So,
so you really sat there and you're like, okay, I'm missing out on movies this, and this. Look, the last movie I honestly saw prior to the ones we've seen was Beauty and the Beast, and that was with my ex Carmen. And prior to her and I seeing a movie, the last movie I've ever seen prior to that was when I was with Denise watching Easy A.
Mm-hmm.
Only because we got those movie tickets for free.
Right.
That was it. Other than that, I really don't go to the movies. I didn't go to the movies often because of
and now you're with
that ticket price.
Yeah, but now with me, it's you're going with me.
Yeah,
I'm sorry you're going to be Disney there for a little bit, but...
but I mean, at the same time, it's okay, $5. I don't mind $5, but every time I wanted to go...
Or even $7 is not that bad, if you think about it.
Every time I wanted to go to movie theaters, it was okay, I would take me and then my significant other. That was $30 down the fucking drain.
Here it's what the highest the highest you go is 14.
Yeah, $14.
That's for two people. And that's
the
not
price.
bad.
Yeah, that's the price of one ticket in Connecticut, and it's okay, that's not bad.
Right, that tells you something different. It's dude, I could blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And the popcorn drinks are not that bad here. It's $13 for a jumbo popcorn with 2 jumbo drinks for $13.
Yep.
Still not that bad.
No.
I think that's the best thing in the world to do, because it's the combos are and with our theater here is when you look at the concession stand, the prices you see on the concession is the prices you're going to pay.
Yep.
They already factored in all the taxes and everything. So if it says $13, you're paying $13. There's no
$13 flat.
Yeah. So there's no hidden fees or nothing. It's just if it says $6.75, you're paying $6.75 for a popcorn or what, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I kind of like our new, before that, the Burford that used to own the theater sucked. It was just about almost as you paying a ticket and stuff like that, what you played in Connecticut almost.
Mm-hmm.
Now since Mitchell's came, it was like a whole different ball game, and it was like, now everybody can go to the movies.
Yeah.
And we'll take it for granted. You have to drive out of town, but
still,
it's worth it,
Yeah, still, it's worth it. You actually enjoy it. You can actually sit down and enjoy a movie.
Ah, wow.
But I don't know.
No, 20, not 120. I was about to say, the heck are you living in?
Yeah, right? I don't know. Anyways, guys, I think that's it for me.
Yeah, I don't think we have too much else to talk about this time. It's kind of been a dead Disney kind of week until next week when Toy Story 4 comes out next Friday, guys. But
we'll fill you in next Monday.
Well, next Thursday. Well, not next Thursday, but the Thursday after.
Yes.
Because I won't get to go see it next weekend because I'm working. So.
Stay tuned for next Thursday at 10 a.m.
Yes.
We'll figure out more Disney.
If there's some Disney stuff that we could talk about, like news-wise, if there's something up. If not, I keep telling this, but I will talk about the Dark Ages, about those movies.
Yep.
I have to get the stuff to go. More or less, I need to get to a printer.
Yep. So then, boys and girls, that's it for When You Wish Upon a Podcast. I guess we'll see you.
Oh, a raid? I don't think there's really too many people to raid tonight.
No, there's Slayer Dan. He's doing Rocket League.
I know I've done him recently, and so I've done Snap Click Cat.
Oh, there's let me find somebody if you want to do a raid. If you feel like doing a raid.
If you guys want to, that's fine. If not, I'm not too worried about it, actually. Not tonight, anyways. If there's nobody really worth it, I don't want to. I really don't.
Yeah, Cat's on, Dan's on, Phil Fantastic's on. There's not really too many people on.
Tonight is just kind of a dead night, it seems like.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of skip it for this time around. We'll do it possibly next week. We'll see if there's somebody worth it to read at the time we do our podcast.
Till then, guys, we'll catch you later.
Up to you. I was just going to find something to do while I eat lunch.
No.
Well, but anyways, guys, we will see you next Thursday at 10 a.m. because it's my work week.
Yep.
So.
Till then, stay amazing.
Oh, yeah, and have a magical day.
Bye!